everyone, and happy birthday to Sadie. Thank you, Sadie, for inviting me to read from my story, The Russian Dollhouse, which appeared in Midnight in the Graveyard by Silver Shamrock Publishing last year. When Sadie reached out to me and asked me to be part of this, I was deeply honored, as Sadie's voice is one in the horror community that I deeply respect and whose reviews I often read. Again, Sadie, thank you for including me in this, and your appreciation of my story means a great deal to me, and I hope I can impress you again in the future. The problem with the reading that I'm about to do is that Sadie's asked me to read a story that's from the point of view of a 14-year-old girl, and, well, I am not a 14-year-old girl, at least not last time I checked. I am a fat, pasty white guy this time too, thanks to the COVID situation. But without further ado, you will now suffer through my reading in my terrible Fall River accent of a section of Russian Dollhouse. Let me give you a little premise first. It's 4 high school friends, Kit, Jordan, Melissa, and Pedro, who are walking towards an abandoned house, kind of a dare on Halloween, who's going to go in the house. Kid is interested in Jordan, and Pedro is kind of a rich, punky brat. So when they get to the house, they find it all lit up like a Halloween attraction with a boy sitting on the porch. Without further ado, Russian Dollhouse, take probably 437. I've been waiting for someone to show up, a boy called from his seat on the porch swing. Where the heck did he come from? Jordan asked no one in particular. He stared at the boy with what looked like wonder. Kit hadn't seen the boy before he'd spoken, and could have sworn he hadn't been on the swing when she first looked. He wore an orange and black Letterman's jacket, not unlike Jordan's, but older and grimier. His features were gaunt and frail, so much so that Kit couldn't picture him playing any sport well. I've been waiting here a long time, the boy said. My friends have already gone in, but I had to wait for the next group. Now that you 4 are here, though, we all should be able to get in. Get into what? Pedro ran up the steps and past the boy. He peered into one of the windows. Is this like some sort of haunted house? How much does it cost? The front door swung open, revealing an empty foyer with a polished wooden floor, unadorned except for a large candelabra hanging from the ceiling. Each candle in it emitted a warm orange glow. Cost? The strange boy laughed and waved him into the house. Well, you don't need any money to get in. Just step inside. Kit held Jordan's arm a little tighter. I'm not so sure we should. Chicken, Melissa said, twirling around the threshold with Pedro right on her heels. That boy, he doesn't look right. Jordan squeezed Kit back. He's just part of the show. This isn't right, I mean. What's this place doing out here? Why would someone put a haunted house way out here, and why didn't any of us know about it? Come on, Jordan said, pulling her forward. This has Pedro written all over it. You know his parents are loaded and basically give him everything he wants. He shrugged. Anyway, it could be fun. Jordan escorted her into the house. As she passed the boy at the door, he offered her a warm-lipped grin. Though she didn't hear his footsteps follow her in, she could sense his presence, as heavy as a rain cloud, right behind her. The door creaked shut. At the sound, Kit spun around and nearly fell atop the boy, who'd been inches from her back. He smelled of dust and something stale, like old sweat, but with a metallic undertone. His eyes, deep navy pools, were looking at her, or maybe through her. Dude! Pedro bounced forward and pointed. Check it out! As if spray-painted by an invisible hand, a circle appeared on the floor, red and running like blood. Spatters dotted the wood inside and outside the circle's sloppy curve. Kit's pulse quickened as the invisible spray painter continued its artwork, drawing within the circle an upside-down star. Melissa threw back her hair, her mouth agape. How are they doing it? So cool, Pedro muttered. Jordan put his arm around Kit and kissed her temple. Even his touch, the very thing she craved more than Free Period and Chris Hemsworth movies and all the Bruno Mars concerts in the world, went barely noticed as she watched the floor paint itself. The effects looked so real. They looked too real. Smoke rose from the floor beside each point. The numbers 1 through 5, charred in black, etched themselves into the wood, each corresponding to a point of the star. I'm number 1, Pedro said, rushing for the point in front of him. The hell you are, Melissa said, hip-checking him as she raced for the same point. Pedro staggered, his momentum carrying him diagonally so that he nearly fell atop the 2. As the sneaker landed on it, the number lit up in a bright red glow. Kit's attention shifted back to Melissa, who was standing on the 1. A bright red glow illuminated her fishnets. "I guess that makes us 3 and 4, Jordan said, unless," he turned to the boy, who lingered by the door with arms crossed. "You don't mind, do you?" He bowed and waved an arm in an extravagant gesture. "By all means." "5's closer to 3, Kit said, not wanting to let Jordan go. "Yeah, but if we have to pair up at some point," Jordan smiled. "I'd rather be paired up with you than Walking Dead over there." He glanced over his shoulder. "No offense." "None taken," the boy said, his thin-lipped smile revealing too much teeth. After a moment's hesitation, Kit relented. She walked over to the 4 and watched it light up. As Jordan took the 3rd spot, he said to the boy, "Well, if you're going to be joining us, we might as well know who you are. I'm Jordan, that's Kit, Pedro, and Melissa." He pointed at each in turn. The boy made no response. Instead, he stepped on the 5. Kit raised an eyebrow and tilted her head at Jordan, shrugged in response. After a second, he asked the boy, "What's your name?" The boy's brow furrowed, and he frowned. "Name? I think it was Billy." He smiled as if he'd just delivered the answer to all life's mysteries. "Yes, Billy. That's what it was." Kit barely had time to register the oddness of the response when a whispering voice materialized out of nothing, airy and hissing, but somehow as loud as if spoken directly into her ear. "Your time is fleeting, and odds are slim. Best bet is to leave, for only one can win." Pedro wiggled his fingers in the air. "Ooh, spooky." He laughed. Kit caught movement in her peripheral vision. Something rose in the corner behind her. She stepped closer to Jordan. Another something appeared in the corner nearest Pedro. She pointed. "Look." Everyone followed her gaze. Pedro took a step toward the growing shadow. "There's another one over there," Melissa said, pointing to her left. "Where are they?" Kit spun around, spotting a rising shadow, then another, and another. "There's one in every corner." Nobody moved. Nobody said a word. As Kit watched the black mass swell, and her own unease swelled with it, she shrank back into the room's center. The things in the corner emerged out of the wall and the floor. Unblinking, Kit watched one take form. 2 black comets with tails dangling from its head like prongs on a jester's cap. An idea came to mind, and with it a cry rose in her throat. She swallowed hard to keep it from spewing out. Antennae. Well, that's the first step into the house for these 4 characters. I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you again, Sadie, for having me today to do this reading. And I wish the best for all of you in these self-quarantine times. I hope you're not getting fat like me. Have a good one.